Hi friends, it's Sasha. Today I am reacting to BTS's new dance practice video of On from the Mama 2020 performance. This is my second time filming this video. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to be reacting just as a dance coach perspective. When I did it the first time, I was pretty harsh on some of the performers, and it's not because I don't think they're good or they're qualified, because that is the farthest thing from the truth. I admire them so much. But anyway, tangent. Please take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is just a critique as someone who has prepared dance performances before, not as someone who is hating on BTS or their dancers, because I think everyone involved in this performance is incredible, super talented, and just wonderful to watch. So with all that said, let's start watching. Oh, I always forget that I want to say this. Okay, so when I did my reaction video to the live performance, I couldn't tell if they all had drums or no one had drums, and now I know why I was confused. Because we can see from the practice video that the first person in the line all has an instrument, and then there are some people dispersed throughout the lines who also have an instrument. So, yes, they have instruments, and no, they have instruments. Were both correct assumptions on my part. I also want to say, we don't know how early into the practice this is. There are some parts that tell me that this is either the dancer's first time with this choreography or the first time with these costumes on, and I'll try and stop and talk about those points specifically as they happen. So, yes. I'm also a stickler when it comes to the drumsticks and the position of the drumsticks. My dad was a drummer growing up, and I watched a lot of drumline movies. So I'm very familiar with stick heights, and if your stick isn't at the right height, you can get points deducted. And obviously this is not a drumline. They are not going for stick height. It's just something I noticed. So now let's get started. This is definitely a part where you can see stick heights are all different. Not right now, but when they start moving. They have the timing so well, though. No one's like on the wrong hand that I can see. This group has pretty good stick height just because it is part of the choreography, whereas before it was more like, get your stick up on this beat, and someone just dropped a stick and picked it back up. This is another part where these two lines really frustrate me, because when they're in the diagonal in the live performance, there's always one or two people who are not in the line, and they'll have to sort of look side to side, and as they move down, they have to take steps backwards or forwards. It happens, I don't want to say every time because I don't like making absolute statements, but it happens a lot. And I'm not sure why this formation is the problem child of this performance. I don't know why they haven't figured it out yet. But it didn't look too bad in this practice, but then someone was definitely off in the performance, but just a little thing. Also, V just wearing a full suit to a dance practice. Yeah. I guess it kind of makes sense because they perform in suits, but this is another part where I took a screenshot of their feet, because this in the practice is one of the sloppiest parts that I have seen. I think this is where I noticed the most that maybe costuming was coming into effect if this was their first time with their costumes, because when they cross their arms, they're doing okay. They're a little bit off, like one side steps a little bit before the other. The steps are not in sync, but it's when they go to unhook their arms that some weirdness happens, and I think it's because there's unexpected friction there, or maybe having the sticks made it unexpected. But this was a section that really got cleaned up between whenever this video was recorded and whenever they performed in the stadium. This part is clean. That was almost clean. Someone came in a little bit late there. Levels are good with arms though. I can't say the same about the people who were on the floor just then. Those formations were a little bit off in the back when they were in two clumps. One clump was really spread out and one was really tight. I'm really happy they did this as a wide angle because I love watching them dance that part as a group. Oh. This choreography is just so sick. It's sickening. The whole thing is great. These 6 guys get a little bit, they're not, they're not evenly spaced out. And I had talked about this a little bit later. I really hope my camera doesn't die. Where there's lines on the floor, it looks like a Marley floor. And even if they don't use the lines when they perform, in practice, if you can use the lines, freaking use the lines, guys. Like if you're supposed to be on a line or in the middle of the line or next to or adjacent to a line, it would be just so much easier for everyone. But yeah, this section's a little bit off. And then the section right before Jungkook walks down for his solo, that section's off too. And it's like, just be on the line. Be on the line. This part is clean up until they start to move backwards. Not this, but here. You can visually see them checking where they're going. Like, you see necks turning, and you're not supposed to do that in a performance if you're moving backwards. At the very least, use like a little bit of a directional look, but you shouldn't be like turning your whole neck to see where you're going, which is again why I think maybe new performers were added to this performance, or it was one of their very first rehearsals, and that could be why we had some of that, but I didn't see it in the live performance, mostly because I was just staring at BTS the whole time. But that's just something I noticed here in the practice, was they were really looking to see where they were going for their next formation. Super clean in the back though with the ripples. Like, wow. This is the part. I'm pausing it because I took a screenshot last time. The group on this side is inside of the line. The group on this side is half on the line, half out of the line. You guys. It's a line. Get on the line. That's just, yeah, I think I get so peeved about it because when I was a coach and even when I was on the dance team, we had specific lines we had to be on or we would get points taken off of our performance. And obviously BTS isn't competing for points or anything like that, but it's so ingrained in me personally that I'm just like, you really couldn't scoot over an inch to get on the line? An inch? But again, this is just their practice, and it doesn't look off or weird when they performed it. And that's all that really matters, is the performance. Oh, what happened? There we go. The dancers walking do a really good job of staying centered, even though Jungkook is swaying a little bit. He has the leisure of swaying because he's the artist. He can sort of go wherever he wants. And this is when the cheerleaders come in, and they are just wild. They're so good. Whew. This is another part. I'm going to pause it here. In editing, I'm going to try and put the original performance and the practice video up because I don't remember their solos being so sharp. And this could have something to do with their costumes. Did their costumes take away from their lines and things like that? And when I say lines, I no longer mean on the floor, I mean in their bodies. So like your arms make a line, your legs make a line, your whole body makes a line. And the prop Jimin has makes a line. And I didn't notice it as much in the live performance, but it looks so clean and so sharp right now. And I feel the same way about all of the solos. They all look immaculate here in this practice version. I will also say, when you are performing, your adrenaline is going through the roof. And a lot of times when your adrenaline gets that high, you sort of like go for it more than you did in practice. And that can take away some cleanness, but it adds the energy to the performance. So it's a give and a take. And I don't think one is better than the other necessarily. They both have different purposes. So let's start at the beginning of Jimin's part. He's jumping over Jungkook now. It just looks different. This guy flips so close to the cymbal player every time, it freaks me out. Every time. I don't remember him flipping that. I think for J-Hope, when he gets adrenaline and more energy, it adds to his performance. Whereas the others looked cleaner. Because he's a dancer, he pretty much always looks clean. You know what I mean? But the energy was like out of this world when they were on the stadium, in the stadium. I think the dancers are a little tired because that's not the energy I've seen from them in this part before. That part's crazy. We have some weird spacing happening there when the dancers were leaving, and we have some weird spacing with the line behind BTS. The line behind BTS is a little off-center, unless the camera is off-center and it just looks like that from our angle. But if your artist ends up off-center and you're supposed to be behind them, you should get behind them. You shouldn't just stay where the formation is supposed to be. And then they walk to make the army sign. So good. Okay. Yeah. This, every time I watch it, is so impressive. The energy that they need to make this look the way it looks every time they do it is just incredible. It's outstanding. I love watching it. Even when I'm being a little more critical than normal, I still doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it. If anything, it means I enjoy the performance even more because I've seen what their practice looked like and some of the things that they needed to fix before they got to their performance, and they did, because the performance blew me away. Blew me away. It's so good. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video with me. Maybe you learned a little bit more about this performance you wouldn't have noticed without. a dance coach or a dance teacher sort of going through it. Yeah, I should say former dance coach. I don't do that anymore, but maybe again one day. Who knows? So thanks for watching with me. Like if you enjoyed what I had to say, or just enjoy BTS and could care less about me, that's fine. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and leave me a comment. What is your favorite BTS performance of 2020? I know my answer. I'll tell you in the comments if you let me know. Bye guys. Have a good day.